Hey guys, my name is Rylan Green. I'm a 17-year-old from Grand Forks, North Dakota. I'm a huge fan of baseball and football. I follow the MLB and NFL a lot, and my YouTube channel will be about football and baseball content. And today I'll be ranking MLB catchers from every MLB team. Let's get to it. Starting off the video at number 30, I have Nick Fortes of the Miami Marlins. Fortes has been the catcher for Miami for the last 2 years and just has not done the job for the Marlins, even though they aren't the best team. Offensively, he did horrible. He hit for only 4 home runs, 29 RBIs, 120 hits, and 300 plate appearances with a batting average of .227 and an OPS of .577. That's just not going to cut it at the major league level. Defensively, he is good, but the bat is just not there. Miami has had a bad pass with the catcher position, so I have to slot him at number 30. At number 29, I have Corey Lee of the Chicago White Sox. His first full year in the Chicago White Sox uniform, after getting traded from the Astros last season, Lee was given the starting catcher role for Chicago. Lee is known for his defense and has one of the best pop times in the league, as well as he has great blocking. For his hitting, he batted for 12 home runs, 37 RBIs, 79 hits, and 377 plate appearances for a batting average of .210 and an OPS of .591 while stealing 6 bases. Lee is more of a backup catcher in my opinion, and the White Sox did terrible as it was, only winning 41 games and 121 losses, which is the worst record in Major League history. And I feel like they just had to put someone at the catcher position, and that was Corey Lee. Coming in at number 28, I have Luis Campusano, current catcher of the San Diego Padres. Coming off a bad year in 2023, Campusano did not do much better in 2024. In 277 plate appearances, Campusano hit for 8 home runs, 40 RBIs, and 63 hits for a batting average of .227 and an OPS of .642. Campusano was ranked as one of the Padres' top prospects in the 2020 season and never stayed healthy and was stuck in the minors for most of that time. He did get the nod this year, so he made the opening day roster, but later lost the starting catcher job to Kyle Higashioka, who just signed with the Texas Rangers this offseason. Now being the starter catcher again, I feel like I just need to see more consistency out of Campusano before I can rank him any higher on this list. Coming in at number 27, I have Keibert Ruiz, current catcher for the Washington Nationals. I really thought Keibert Ruiz was going to be so promising coming into last season, but he really just did not do that great at all. He hit for 13 home runs, 57 RBIs, with only 70 hits and 459 plate appearances for a batting average of .229 and an OPS of .577. He is nothing special behind the plate either. Ruiz, coming into his 27-year-old season, needs to step his game up, or he's just going to get sent down to AAA. Coming in at number 26, I have Jacob Stallings, catcher for the Colorado Rockies. Stallings surprisingly had a solid 2024 season for the Rockies at the age of 34. After playing for Pittsburgh and Miami, Stallings moved to Colorado, where he has one of the best seasons of his career. Stallings hit for 9 home runs, 36 RBIs, 64 hits, and 243 plate appearances for a batting average of .263 and an OPS of .810. We do have to put the Coors Field in effect, as that is a very hitter-friendly ballpark, but I think Stallings performed better than a lot of people, including myself, expected. Coming in at number 25, I have Miguel Amaya, catcher for the Chicago Cubs. I really do like Miguel Amaya, and I feel like he has the opportunity to become one of the better catchers in this league. He just needs to prove his hitting because he is a fantastic blocker behind the plate. In 328 plate appearances, Amaya hit for 8 home runs, 47 RBIs, 76 hits for a batting average of .232 and an OPS of .751. I have high hopes for Amaya, and I feel like he can impact the Cubs this upcoming season. I just need to see more from Amaya, so I have him at number 25 on this list. At number 24, I have brother of Josh Naylor and catcher for the Cleveland Guardians, Bo Naylor. Naylor in his third season batted for 13 home runs, 39 RBIs, 71 hits, and 354 plate appearances for a batting average of only .201 and an OPS of .614. Baylor is mainly known for his defense. He is elite behind the plate, no doubt. But his chase rate and low batting average really affect him. Right now, I have him slotted at number 24. At number 23, I have newly acquired Tampa Bay Ray, Danny Jansen. Jansen struggled in 2024 compared to his past years where he was considered a top 10 catcher in the league. Starting the year off in Toronto, didn't do that great, and then just played the last 2 months of his season in Boston, where he did average. Jansen hit for 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, 57 hits, and 278 plate appearances, good enough for a career low .205 batting average and an OPS of .658. I think starting fresh with the Rays will turn out good for Jansen, as Tropicana Field is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. Coming in at 22, I have Joey Bart of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bart finished off with a great season in Pittsburgh after being awful in San Francisco, batting for 13 home runs, 45 RBIs, 67 hits, and 253 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of .265 and an OPS of .799. Defensively, Joey Bart is an average catcher, but his hitting is where it is at. Bart basically is a league average hitter and an average player, so I have him slotted at number 22. Up next, I'm going to talk about Boston Red Sox starting catcher Connor Wong. Wong hit very well at the plate last year, hitting for 13 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 125 hits for a batting average of .289 and an OPS of .758 while stealing 8 bases. Wong hit very well at Fenway, which is a hard place to hit at with the Green Monster, but did have a decent 2024 campaign, and I'm hoping that he will do better in 2025, so I have him slotted at number 21. Given the top 20 starter, I have Detroit Tigers catcher Jake Rogers. Rogers hits for a decent amount of power and is very great behind the plate, considered one of the best defenders at his position, but again, it is a consistency issue with Rogers. In 310 plate appearances, Rogers hit for 10 home runs, 36 RBIs, 61 hits, good enough for only a 197 batting average, and an OPS of .607. I think Rogers may find a new team in 2025, as the Tigers have had him as their catcher for many years, but I have him at number 20. At number 19, I have Ivan Herrera of the Cardinals. That's right, Ivan Herrera is the starting catcher for the Cardinals this season. Contreras is moving to first base. Going back to Herrera, he had a fantastic season for the Cardinals, batting for 5 home runs, 27 RBIs, and 69 hits in 229 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of .301 and an OPS of .800 while stealing 5 bases. Defensive-wise, Herrera is pretty good, and I feel like the Cardinals may have made the right decision by moving Contreras over to first base, as I do feel like Herrera is better behind the plate. I have him slotted at number 19 on this list. At number 18, I have Tyler Stevenson, current catcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Tyler Stevenson had a much better 2024 season for the Reds, especially with the bat. Stevenson had probably the worst year of his career in 2023, but came back in 2024 with 19 homers, 66 RBIs, 118 hits, and 457 plate appearances, good enough for a 258 batting average and an OPS of .782. Him being in Cincinnati does help him, as they do have a better hitter-friendly ballpark, but I do believe that Tyler Stevenson is a top 20 catcher in baseball. I have him at number 18. Going to Canada to talk about Toronto Blue Jays catcher Alejandro Kirk. Kirk had more of a down year at the plate in 2024, only hitting for 5 home runs, 54 RBIs, 86 hits, and 340 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of .253 and an OPS of .677, but I do still have faith that Kirk will turn it around and play near his 2022 All-Star season. Kirk is also a solid defender behind the plate and has elite plate discipline. I think he'll turn around this year. I have him at 17 on this list. For the 16th ranked catcher in baseball, I'm going with Logan O'Hoppe of the Los Angeles Angels. O'Hoppe finally was able to play nearly a full season and proved himself with 20 homers, 56 RBIs, 117 hits, and good enough for a batting average of .244 and an OPS of .712. O'Hoppe is still young, as he is only 25 years old and has more time to grow and develop. But I do think Logan O'Hoppe is a solid catcher with the bat and behind the plate. I have him at number 16 on this list. Staying in the American League West, at 16, I have Shea Langeliers of the Athletics. Langeliers is very good at many things and proved it this season. He hit for a whopping 29 home runs, 80 RBIs, 108 hits, good enough for a batting average of .224 and an OPS of .739. Langeliers has the ability to throw out runners very well, but struggles at blocking. I do believe that Langeliers has a much better season in 2023. I have him ranked at number 15 on this list. At number 14, I have starting catcher for the Texas Rangers, Jonah Heim. Heim had a down year this year compared to 2023, where he made the All-Star game. In 459 plate appearances, the switch-hitting catcher hit for 13 home runs, 59 RBIs, 101 hits. Heim had a career-low .220 batting average with an OPS of .602. Defensively, Heim is solid, but due to his down year in 2024, I have to put him at 14. Up next, we're going to talk about my favorite team's catcher, Ryan Jeffers of the Minnesota Twins. Jeffers had a fantastic first half of the season, but did poor in the second half. At one point, he was even leading off for the Twins, which is rare to see at the catcher position. In 412 plate appearances, he batted for a career-high 21 home runs, 64 RBIs, 93 hits, good enough for a batting average of .226, and an OPS of .732. I really do like Ryan Jeffers, and I hope he can do even better than he did last year with the bat and especially with the defense. For the 12th best catcher in baseball, I'm going with Francisco Alvarez of the New York Mets. Alvarez had a decent second season for the Mets, hitting for 11 home runs, 47 RBIs, 73 hits, and 308 plate appearances. Good enough for a batting average of .237 and an OPS of .710. Alvarez is really solid behind the plate with defense as well. I still have high hopes for Alvarez as he is still young, and I believe that soon he will be known as a top 10 catcher in baseball. Just outside the top 10, I have Austin Wells of the New York Yankees. Austin Wells had a fantastic rookie season behind the plate as he finished the season with 13 home runs, 55 RBIs, 81 hits, and 354 plate appearances. Good enough for a batting average of .229 and an OPS of .718. Defensively, Austin Wells did very well behind the plate and proved why he should be the starting catcher there in New York. I really do like Austin Wells, and I believe he can be the future of that Yankees franchise. Getting the top 10 starter at number 10, I have Gabriel Moreno of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Moreno is one of those players that is elite behind the plate, but the bat is just not quite there yet. Moreno only hitting for single-digit home runs is not that great, but he does have great contact and has a very good eye. In 305 plate appearances, Moreno batted for 5 home runs, 45 RBIs, and 81 hits, good enough for a batting average of .266 and an OPS of .734. I just need to see more power out of Moreno, and I feel like if he stays healthy and plays a full year, he will become an even better catcher. Coming off easily the worst year of his career, I have Sean Murphy of the Atlanta Braves. Wow, Murphy had a horrible 2024 season compared to his previous years in Oakland and Atlanta. Murphy hit for 10 home runs, 25 RBIs, 45 hits, and 233 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of only .193 and a slugging of .633. But I will give Sean Murphy some slack as he battled a decent amount of injuries. Hopefully he can come back better in 2025. I have him at number 9 on this list. At number 8, I have Patrick Bailey, catcher for the San Francisco Giants. I truly do think Patrick Bailey has the chance to become so good. He just needs to improve his hitting because at the plate, he is not that great. In 2024, Bailey hit for 8 home runs, 46 RBIs, 94 hits, and 401 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of .234 and an OPS of .637. But that's not what he mainly is known for. He is the best defensive catcher in the game, and there's no doubt about that. If the bat gets going, man, this guy could become the next Jorge Posada in my opinion. Going to Philadelphia to talk about the Phillies starting catcher, JT Realmuto. Realmuto had more of a down year for the Phillies last year, but did do solid. In 380 plate appearances, Realmuto batted for 14 home runs, 47 RBIs, 101 hits, good enough for a batting average of .266 and an OPS of .751. He did have a good barrel rate last year, but the chase rate was not the best. Defensive-wise, he is fantastic with a great pop time and with decent speed. Coming into his 34-year-old season, I have Realmuto ranked at number 7. Just outside the top 5, I have Houston Astros young catcher Yainer Diaz. Despite a slow start of the season, Yainer Diaz still finished off with a fantastic season in his second season in the league. In 585 plate appearances, Diaz batted for 16 home runs, 84 RBIs, and 175 hits, good enough for a batting average of .299 and an OPS of .766. This guy is just a really good baseball player. He has a good eye, gets on base, puts the ball in play, doesn't strike out that often, and has a solid glove behind the plate. If Yainer Diaz does even better than he did last year, which I think he will do, he will be a top 5 catcher in my opinion, no doubt. In the top 5 starter at number 5, I have Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. Man, I really hope Salvador Perez makes it to the Hall of Fame one day because he is still crushing it at the age of 34 for the Royals. In 590 plate appearances, Perez hit for 27 home runs, 104 RBIs, 160 hits, good enough for a batting average of .271 and an OPS of .786. Defensively, he is not that great as he is getting up there in age, but if you are hitting like he does at the age he is, I am taking that all day. He was such a big reason why the Royals had the season they had last year. I think Salvi is a top 5 catcher in baseball, in my opinion. At number 4, I have Will Smith of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The 2-time world champion catcher is coming into his 6th season after signing a monster contract with the Dodgers. In 476 plate appearances, Smith hit for 20 home runs, 75 RBIs, 118 hits, good enough for a batting average of .248 and an OPS of .760. Behind the plate, Smith is pretty solid as well, but I just have to see more from him, as every year it seems like he hits for the same amount of home runs and RBIs. Not saying that his hitting line is bad by any means, I just really want to see a breakout year for Will Smith. I have him ranked at number 4. At number 3, I have Baltimore Orioles star young switch-hitting catcher Adley Rutschman. I do love Adley Rutschman, and I think he's an elite catcher, but I feel like he's getting played a little too much by Baltimore, but he did have a solid season. In 571 plate appearances, Rutschman batted for 19 home runs, 79 RBIs, 143 hits, good enough for a batting average of .250, and an OPS of .709. He is solid behind the plate as well and has a decent speed. I think Adley is elite. I have him at number 3 on my list. For the second best catcher in baseball, I have Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners. I mean, he is just so good. His defense is okay, but his bat is electric. In 546 plate appearances, he hit for 34 home runs, 100 RBIs, 120 hits, good enough for a batting average of only .220, and an OPS of .748. Raleigh does strike out often, but he does have solid defense, and his home runs and RBIs make up for that low batting average. I have the big dumper at number 2. Because the number 1 catcher in baseball, in my opinion, is William Contreras of the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, I think this is a no-doubter. I mean, this guy is something special. His defense is fantastic, and so is his bat. In 595 plate appearances, Contreras hit for 23 home runs, 92 RBIs, and 167 hits, good enough for a batting average of .281 and an OPS at .831. Contreras was voted 5th in MVP voting this season, and he deserved it. The Brewers are really lucky to have this guy. I mean, I think he is the best catcher in the MLB. Some may not agree with me, but William Contreras, you are the best catcher.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video on ranking every MLB catcher for every MLB team. The next video I'll be making is on first baseman, and that should be out in about 3 to 5 days. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.